Hi, I'm coming to you live from my Bitmoji classroom, welcoming you to biology, whether you're in my option 2 or honors class, or should I say you have a student in my option 2 or honors class. I'm just going to be telling you a little bit about what to expect during this year, and then a little bit about me. So I have a 6-year-old daughter entering into first grade, not in this school district, but Big Spring. And so I also have a dog, and a big golden retriever, a husband who owns his own business, and I just love teaching biology. I want to be back. I'm excited for this school year, and I am a little nervous about the online format. I'm not gonna lie to you, and I'll get into a little bit about where I'm nervous in certain parts. I truly love teaching face to face, so I have my classroom set up in a safe manner, and I'll get into a little bit more about that. And I'm just going to introduce you to some things we're going to be using or doing, or just my policies, procedures. And I'm just really super excited to get the year started. So if you ever need to contact me, you want to email me, norcrossc@carlisleschools.org. It's just the best way to reach me. And don't ever hesitate to to email me if you have any question. No question is not worth asking if it's truly bothering you, or you really just want it answered. The phone is a second option. The phone number is on the screen there, with the extension number. However, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't check that phone during the day, and my light is constantly on saying I have messages no matter what. So it's possible it could get lost. So again, the best way to call is to email me. If you want a personal phone call, I can call you back when it's best convenient. And that brings me to if your question is really small or not something too in depth, if the kids are working, I can email you back in like a 2-minute little, quick email. I cannot call you back while I have students in the classroom. So again, just email me. Platforms that we're going to be using this year in programs in our classroom for biology, obviously, Schoology. I used Schoology last year a little bit, and towards the end of the year, I mean, when we went all online, I used it a lot, and I got really comfortable with it. So hopefully your student is comfortable with it. Hopefully you have a parent access to it and can get on there. Now you can't do the work for them, which I wouldn't want you to, nor should you be. But you can see what they're supposed to be doing. And then the other platforms we're going to use are going to be something called Ed Puzzle, which I am going to be recording notes sometimes if I don't give them in class, or like just little bits of information that they need to know in short bursts, and then creating like videos. And then Ed Puzzle will take my videos and I can add questions to them, and the questions they have to answer before they can go on. And so basically I will give them points for this, and it's basically participation. It'd be like if they were listening to me during class and then answering questions when I ask them during my, dare I say, lecture, because I don't lecture a lot. But I'm probably going to have to with this new online format so that they actually get the information, because biology has so much vocabulary, and a lot of it is new. We're going to use USA Test Prep as a format to potentially do tests in and quizzes in an online way instead of using Schoology. We might go back and forth though, depending on how that works. USA Test Prep will also be used as a prep station for taking the biology keystone, which most students in biology have to take. I have no idea, and it is not a Carlisle decision whether we give the biology keystone. That is a state decision by PDE, so stay tuned. But we're just going to prep like we are going to take it, and just hope for the best with that. The last platform is Amoeba Sisters, which is I think they're sisters. They have an online collection of videos that are super fabulous with graphics, and a lot of them are actually on Ed Puzzle, but I also have some work sheets that I might be able to upload, and then they'll be able to type on, or maybe use their fingers to draw on. And then send back to me. But this will be a way to collect notes or to ask, to basically find out if they know what they're supposed to be learning and they're actually taking the information and understanding it and applying it properly. So I love the Amoeba Sisters. You'll notice above me on my Bitmoji classroom, one of my big things is work is not an option. So sitting back and not doing anything is just going to collect a lot of zeros. I'll get into grading later. And especially in the classroom, like you cannot just sit here and tell me I'll do it later. Like I don't take, like I will be watching you. I'm not just going to sit here and stare at my computer screen. That is not me. I can't sit still. So I will be wandering and watching, and work is just not an option. And it works out that way. And most kids are very successful because I don't let them just sit there. Tier 1 versus Tier 2, we're going to start at Tier 2, which means that I'll be seeing your child 2 days a week. I lie. I'll be seeing them 1 day a week for 70 minutes. The A's will be coming on Mondays and Tuesdays, and then the B's will be coming on Thursdays and Fridays. So with the time requirements in Tier 1, you can expect daily assignments that will be about 30 minutes in length, and there'll be 5 of those a week. When we're in Tier 2, you can expect to have 3 assignments in school, or I should say 3 assignments online while we're in school, and then I'll be seeing them for 70 minutes in class once a week. And hopefully what I'm going to try and do is preview stuff, review stuff, and extend anything that I'm teaching while I'm seeing them in class, answer any questions, help them, pitfalls, tricks, ways to remember stuff, which is why I want to be in Tier 1, whether you want to be or not. I'm just telling you what my hopes and dreams are, to stay in Tier 2. Because in Tier 2, I can honestly be able to do that kind of stuff. In Tier 1 and what we experienced in the spring, I had trouble, telling them pitfalls and all this stuff and helping them to remember stuff because I didn't have that little bit of time to just do the one-on-one, face-to-face and explain stuff. And so that's what I'm really looking forward to. So units that we're going to study this year are going to be, if we're going to start off with the first week is going to be a little bit of safety, and it'll be very quick. And then we're going to get into the characteristics of life, which there are 8 of them, and the kids will become accustomed to learning them, and they are basically our units that we're going to study throughout the year. There'll be a little bit of scientific method at the end of characteristics of life. Ecology will be our first major unit, which I'm going to incorporate a bunch of botany terms within ecology. Botany is the study of plants, and I don't believe you can learn about an ecosystem, which has a base of the plant level, without learning about photosynthesis and transpiration, which is the movement of water, and how plants reproduce, which is pollination. And so I'm going to start off with the autotrophs, which are the plant-based items in an ecosystem, and then we'll work through all the way up to our top heterotrophs in a food web, food chain, or ecosystem in ecology. And we'll talk about how populations interact and communities and all that good stuff. It's a big, long unit. And then what we'll do is biochemistry after that, which is the study of life, carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, all that good stuff, which you may or may not know anything about. But I like to incorporate it and lead it into parts of cells and how those cell parts help the processes occur. So that's going to be a lot of in and out of the membrane. And that's a whole big unit that your child will probably not like, but some do and some don't. It just depends. Then we're going to move straight from biochemistry into cells, which makes sense because if I'm introducing some cell parts and how they help things function, then getting into all of the mitochondria and the Golgi body and bacteria cells versus plant cells versus animal cells and prokaryotes versus eukaryotes, which takes us into how the cells divide, mitosis and meiosis, which they did get into hopefully in middle school, so that's kind of a review. That takes us to my favorite units of the year, genetics, DNA, and evolution, which will be towards the end. These are the ones I actually did online last year, so I already have this stuff all worked out. But there's Punnett squares, and then we'll get into how the DNA gets replicated and gets transcribed into mRNA, and then the mRNA gets expressed as a protein, and maybe I will just tell them how COVID is actually a different type of virus because it's actually an RNA virus, not a DNA virus. And then that'll lead to evolution, which I actually call natural selection, and just how nature has a way of selecting the winners and the losers, and how the winners are able to reproduce and then successfully transport their genes by reproduction into the next generation. And bada bing, bada boom, you see more of those said creatures in the next generation. You can see my picture over here. Yum! Green beetles, our favorite. And so they eat the green, the green, the green, and then over time, if they eat them all, you'll see more of the brown beetles. And we'll go over that. Kids usually like that unit. Grading, I'm going to follow a general Carlisle scale, and everything's going to be graded. And so the kids really have to put forth effort, especially in their online assignments. You know, if they go into Ed Puzzle, which I talked about earlier, where I record notes and they don't answer the questions, they just click an M or a BT, I'm not giving them credit for participation. They will get probably a 5 out of 10, which is a failing grade every time. Yes, they went on there. Yes, they clicked. But did they actually do what I asked? No. So I'm not going to give them a 0. A 0 is if you didn't even log in. But still, it's not going to be passing. And so just doing your work is going to be super important to being successful in this class. Materials that they are going to need are going to be their laptop on a daily basis, and then I ask that each kid bring either a composition book or a spiral bound notebook that has paper in it, just white lined paper, that's it. And then either markers or colored pencils, and this would be for themselves. I am going to try and build a vocabulary notebook or a key concept or a key drawing or a key diagram book that they will have. I am never collecting it. It will be a place where they can put stuff and then write it down to write to remember, tricks of the trade. It's going to be a little diary, kind of like, and that's my thought process. So again, they'll need either a 3-ring spiral binder of paper or a composition book, and then either markers or colored pencils for themselves. Every day I am going to have the kids clean. I am not a germaphobe. However, I am worried about your kid getting sick. I have gotten sick from my own classroom in years past. I know. I've had kids come down with stuff and then I get it. So it's in here. So I don't want you to think I'm cuckoo, but I really want to just protect everyone, me included, but also them. So I am going to be a mask stickler. I will have mine on. I might even be wearing a shield at the same time, so I don't get them sick. Again, I'm more worried about them, whether you believe me or not. And it's just expected that they wear the mask. I am not going to lie to you. I am not going to sit here and keep saying, put your mask on, stop dropping your mask. I will simply be like, you need to leave, go. And what the office does is what the office does, but I will not let a kid in here who is not going to be compliant and who's going to take someone else's health and safety and put it at risk. It's not going to happen in here. I have cleaning supplies and they will be able to clean their area, and I will have sprayed probably, and then they will just get a towel and wipe their chair and wipe their area. After they do that, I'm going to have them wash their hands. I have 2 sinks. And then I'm just going to ask that they sit down and stay in their area. Basically, every kid has their own table in my room, and I'll show you later in a different video that I'll probably send in an email. And then I'm just going to ask them to get their laptop out. They have plugs in here. Every kid has a plug. And to read the agenda on the board to get ready, usually is on the smart board of what they're going to do. I look forward to an awesome year, and I thank you for watching this, and I just hope that we all have a successful year and that things stay in a tier 2. I just want you to know that that's how I want to be in here, and I'm really, really looking forward to teaching biology. I love it. I've been teaching for this is my 13th year of teaching biology, I think, in this classroom in S10, and I look to add to another awesome year teaching biology to your student. Thank you.